Many people ask me not about Shiva. And hence I am going to talk about dancing with Lord Shiva. Long ago I said, you have a choice. There are two Shivas here. If you cannot, not everybody can find Lord Shiva. Can you? Can you? Have you ever seen anybody seen Lord Shiva in a dance, cosmic dance? No. What do you mean by dancing with Lord Shiva? Some people come to the satsang very reluctant. Oh, I wish I had gone there after 1 hour and 10 minutes. Mama takes 1 hour and 10 minutes and then starts the puja. We can somehow tolerate the puja, and then goes the vegetarian dinner. They all expect. My wife plans it very meticulously, what things to be brought, what to be cooked, everything. She is very meticulous with the host. Is it going to be Delhi type of khana or Punjabi khana or pure Telugu hot khana? It's no longer hot. She did. When all these things are planned, I am planning Shiva's dance. When you come reluctantly, that's what I was hoping. To the puja, when you come with the stances, with a very, very indifferent look at the topic that uncle has spoken, uncle is speaking, uncle spoke last. My chair is not okay. Uncle spoke last, seeing everything through Shirdi Baba's eyes. Is that what I spoke last week, last month? So when you come and say, I don't agree with uncle, I don't agree with all that uncle says, uncle's, I think at the end of the day, uncle's humor, Sai Murari humors stand out. I had an invitation once from Austin. Uncle, are you coming there? Don't forget to bring my wife. No, Sai Murari. We need Sai Murari to give a compendium of humor first, and then your lecture. Yeah, Sai Murari will start from his password humor 10 years ago. He will take 1 hour. He's a brilliant guy. When it comes to humor and cricket, you can't beat him. Cricket is playing now. So all those people who come and say that we don't agree with even Lord Shiva, all the principles we don't, you reluctantly come, you want to say what, you don't agree with what is, but you tend to disagree with what is, and therefore what not is or what is not. And therefore you become a reluctant devotee. You reluctantly dance with Lord. Where is Shiva? Oh, okay. Shiva's receiving the food. Okay. Other Shiva? Nirupama? No, he didn't come today. He's praying to Shiva. And then when you tend to develop consciousness, when you really try to understand what things are in the world, when you really understand how to look at things through Shirdi Baba's eyes, when you really don't miscarry the information that uncle is giving or the books are giving, when you really understand and then try to agree with everything that is said here in the satsang, you become a graceful dancer. You are so graceful that you start dancing gracefully with Lord Shiva. Come on in, please. You are welcome. Gracefully you are dancing, and then when you are gracefully dancing, you become a what? I told you, right? Reluctant dancer. You are a graceful dancer with Lord Shiva. And between these things, these two things is a chasm. Reluctant and the most beautiful dancer. There is another step, but human beings cannot go to the step even to 100,000 births. Dancing with Shiva, very, very, very ubiquitously, very uniquely defined as those two ways of looking at. That's why I said in the email, in the last email, some of you read the email, thank you. The path that leads you to the Sadguru is infused with bhakti and consciousness, integrated with Hindu dharma in everyday life. These things I am saying very directly, that dancing with Shiva or dancing later with Shirdi Baba requires these things. If you read the email twice, like if you read nth time Satcharita, things will look very different. Things will be so different, you will read it the n+1th time. That is how my emails read. That's how devotees say from Houston, from Austin, from Maryland. They say it's a lot of meaning. For that, you have to read at least once. You don't read it, I know. You look for the last paragraph. Vishal Sarin and Usha Sarin, the address, even that I can tell you. 4725, whatever it is. And then one instruction, go to the left side of the security gate and then tell him the name and the thing. Sri Vishal Sarin didn't tell me one thing. They asked for the passport and driver's license. You didn't tell me. That's the latest AI humor. They asked for the passport. And the AI man, the security sitting there, I said, you don't look like the person you are. Naveen was expecting that question. I was looking at him and then said, okay. I said, thank you, AI. Did I not say that? I said that because I look at AI everywhere. I'm afraid I am not the real person. I am AI'd. Because I read so much about AI. You will all be AI'd someday. Dancing with Shiva has got that meaning. Dancing with Shiva, I said in 2 minutes. Compendium of Dancing with Shiva. It's a huge volume, volume number 1. I have gone through the entire volume. I am satisfied that I should tell people 2 sentences about Dancing with Shiva. Because Dancing with Shirdi Baba is based on that. The vivid principles I told you, Dancing with Shirdi Baba, even if you see through his eyes every day, even that is not amounting to Shirdi Baba. In the email, I told you certain things. Is he a professor from UTD? He gave you the chair. That's very nice of you, Ron. So the basic principles is what? Is a UTD student. Very brilliant student. The principles are the things that I'm going to share with you. Thiruvasagam. Let us start with that. This is a beautiful book, the 8th volume written by a young boy, Vadavuran. He was born to a pious Shaivite couple at Tiruvadavur. Tiruvadavur is nothing but a small village nestling along River Vaigai. You know River Vaigai, that's in the famous temple town of South India. What is that? Madurai. A famous temple of goddess Meenakshi, where in the 15th century, gods descended down for the wedding of goddess Meenakshi with Lord Sundareshwara. Dancing with Shiva is dancing with Meenakshi, dancing with Sundareshwara. That's not that easy. But look at Manika Wasagar. Manika Wasagar was very young, he was very well, he was groomed very well even as a 5-year-old boy, skilled in scriptures, very well, he was an architect of arts and literature, and then religious principles, and he was very charming and compassionate in character at the age of 5. He knew everything at the age of 5. Even Sri Narasimha Saraswati was born, he didn't talk. When he was born, he didn't talk. Only on the Upanayanam day or on the first or second birthday, he started talking the whole Vedas. Here comes Tiruvadavuran. He is called Vadavuran. Vadavuran's brilliance reached the reigning Pandyan king. I'm talking about 862 AD. Can you imagine 862 AD? He is behind even Rajaraja Cholan, even before. Rajaraja Cholan is 972 AD to 1025 AD. Now here comes Vadavuran, and the king, Madurai king, was Arimardana Pandyan. Not a very famous king. You wouldn't have heard except in the story of Manika Vasagar, because Meenakshi's father is fairly well known. And then another person who built Tirumala Nayakar Mahal, the official residence of the king and queen in Madurai, is a famous man. Nayakar kings, Pandya kings. These people, this king had a look at him. He is 8 years old, and then he appointed him as his prime minister, and he gave Tiruvadavurar a special name of Tennavan South Indians, Tennavan Brahma. What, anybody who knows that? Brahmarayar. Tennavan Brahmarayar means Brahmarayar is like Brahma. He knows so many things. He is well versed. He is learned in arts and literature. Very well versed in religion. He is very charming at the age of. So he was about 8 or 9 years old. Vadavuran was prime minister in Pandya kingdom. He had all the pelp and power. He had all the merchants, all the servants with him. He had the whole palace with him. But then his mind was always looking for something beyond the power and fortune that was given to him as prime minister of Pandya king. 862. He even knew what 1988 or 2022 will look like. Prime ministers of India, prime ministers of Canada. Sorry for mentioning Canada. Prime Minister of Britain. Canada has got a new prime minister. Anybody watching primetime news? Some of you, right? Teja, do you know? That young super, I don't want to say anything, is no longer in power. That super brat of a prime minister is gone. New prime minister since yesterday. And he's not talking anything about the tariffs. We will talk about the Vasagam. All right. So Tennavan Vadavuran, he was doing all his duties very diligently, brilliantly, and then he was a very effective administrator in the Pandya kingdom. Very soon his name and fame reached other kingdoms around that, Chola, Chera, Chalukyas in the Karnataka. So many people in the 862 AD. And always he was pining for something else, and therefore the Pandya king watched him very carefully. He said he's one of the greatest person. He doesn't even like all the palaces I give him, all the good dresses I give him. He's always talking about Panchakshara mantra. He's talking about Atma. He's talking about religion. He's waiting like a peacock, waiting for the cloud, right? What is a cloud? That rain-bearing cloud. Do you know the name? Anybody? I asked you because I have forgotten the name. Cumulus. Some name, a beautiful name. I used to talk about it million years ago. So this rain-bearing crowds, all the peacocks, and he was like a peacock waiting for the rain of this thing from Lord Shiva. He was a very great devotee of Lord Shiva even from the birth. He was also longing for a guru who would clarify many doubts about his religion, about his Atma, about his kingdom, about his duties. Who is a king? Who is this Arimartana Pandian? What is he doing to all the people? Who are all the people? So he wanted to know all the ecstatic truths about everything, and therefore he was not very happy with the job. At this moment, the Pandya king he wanted for his cavalry lots of horses, war horses. In those days, there used to be lots of horses, Arabian horses sold in the coastal town near Madurai. Have you heard about that, Arabian horses? Who is the person who bought all the horses? Not the Pandya king. Raja Cholan, who used to buy 64,000 horses he had in his cavalry, and about 70-80% are from Saudi Arabia. All those things Raja Cholan bought, but before that the Pandya king is trying. He sent our prime minister, Vadavuran, to go and choose and buy a variety of beautiful Arabian horses. So Vadavuran started leaving with enormous money and gold with him. He was carrying with the servants. He was going there, and on the way he drops at a temple town called Tirupandurai. This is a very famous town today in Tamil Nadu. I won't go to that name. Some of you may be from Tanjore, some of you maybe is from Kumbakonam, somebody is from Trichy. It's all between that Mayavaram and Trichy. Tirupandurai. When he entered Vadavuran, he was struck, bamboozled by one of the Siddha Purushas who was there waiting inside, Siddha Purushas. He was very enlightened. He had a dazzling look. He looked like a god. And this Siddha Purusha, he went there in an attitude of total surrender. He raised his hands in perfect namaskar and total surrender he gave. Are you all right, Raghu Mama? Okay. Received. And he went there in total surrender. He received the initial Diksha from that Siddha Purusha. And then he burst immediately into very sweet hymns in praise of Lord Shiva. Since he started all these things, his honeyed hymns, very sweet hymns. And then he also sang fully, like he's a Wasagar, right? So Lord, the Siddha Purusha, who is none other than Lord Shiva, gave him the name Manika Vasagar. Manika means gem like, Vasagar means one who speaks like a gem. So all his words are all like gems, pearls, corals, and therefore he got the name. Here afterwards, he is not Vadauran, he is going to be called Manika Vasagar. But little did Manik Vasagar know that Sadguru was Lord Shiva himself. He didn't know at that time. He's going to know after about 2 or 3 days. In the meantime, the Siddha Purusha says, you brought gold and enormous amount of money from Pandya king. You renovate this temple. He was sitting in a temple, right? What city is that? Tirupandurai. So renovate the Shiva temple, he says. So he starts spending all the money in renovation of the temple. When he is renovating, it takes time, and therefore the people who came with him, they return to the king, Harimardana Pandian, and then when he returns, they complain that what is going on there? He is not bringing, he is not passing through, he is just passing through, he stops there with the Siddha Purusha in the temple and he is using the money to renovate. The king, Pandya king, gets very angry. He comes there and then orders to arrest that person. Are you all right? Sita Devi. What's his name? Vadaurar. No, what's his name? Manika Vasagar, yeah, Vadavara. Manika Vasagar gets arrested, he's in jail in Madurai, and before that, the Siddha Purusha is Lord himself, he gets a beautiful temple, and then he himself changes into a able horseman, and then he comes with a horde of horses. So many thousands of horses he brings, and then he says one condition to our fellow when he was arrested, I'll come on Avani Mula. Avani Mula refers to a month and a very holy month, and therefore I'll come that day and give thousands and thousands and thousands of horses. You don't worry, you go to jail. He goes to jail, he still doesn't know who is this Siddha Purusha, and then the Siddha Purusha, we all know that he is Lord Shiva. Therefore, he comes there like an able salesperson, horse salesperson, and then he goes in that Avani Mula date. Until then, the king becomes extremely impatient, and then he is trying to cruelly treat Manika Vasagar. He lived in India, in South India, which year? 862 AD. Of course, several centuries ago, but he lived. 130 years ago, Shirdi Baba lived. Another 1,000 years we add, it will be 1,000 years, right? Just like Raja, he becomes a Raja Choran. In those days, people, Kali Yuga would be damaging the minds of the people, and therefore they will all think there was no Shirdi Baba. Uncle was lying. My tapes they will see. They will all be wondering this uncle was also lying and there is no Shirdi Baba, there is nothing. Probably Shirdi temple would have become, the politicians would have built some other temple over that. All these things are possible. And therefore, this thing, look at this thing as a very real thing, as if you are living with Manika Vasagar and Harimardana Pandian and then Lord Shiva himself. And they went there and he's in jail, and on the Avani Mula, he goes there with several thousands of horses. He's a horse. Lord goes as a tradesperson. He goes to Harimardana Pandian and say, all these things I am giving you on behalf of this thing. Your Thiruvaduran, right? Thiruvaduran. The king is very, very happy. Very extremely happy, and then therefore he just lets him out. He is out of the jail, and then at that point, he comes to know that how come all these horses, the king takes a look at the horses, they are ecstatically beautiful, they are so strong, none like the Saudi Arabian horses. They are all stronger than that, they are very tall, they are very beautiful, they are extremely, mobile, and therefore he himself is wondering, what are these horses? So they are all in the stable, thousands of them, the king doesn't have enough space for them, and therefore he is out of the jail, or Tiruvadavuran Manika Vasagar. That night, Madurai city came to see a very unusual incident. Madurai city saw a very unusual thing, a very miraculous thing, very troubling thing. Suddenly, at the midnight, when it struck midnight, 12 o'clock, all these horses became foxes. All these foxes were damaging the other real horses of Harimardana Pandian. They killed it. Thousands of foxes, very big foxes, strong foxes. They're all running through helter-skelter through Madurai city, real incidents. They were all running through. They created so much of damage, and people were all crying, and then they were all running. The foxes killed several people in the palace itself. So the Pandya king tries to see this guy, who? This Manika Wasagar. This Manika Thiruvaruran is a black magic. He is practicing black magic, and therefore arrest him. He gets arrested. Put him on Vaigai River. He is put on Vaigai River. There is no water there, and there is the stands are all 110 degrees. At the time, Vaigai River, I have seen it without water several times in my youth. And he is standing there. A big boulder is tied to Manika Wasagar's neck. Big boulder. He is standing there on one leg. That is a punishment given to him. At that point, suddenly the dam bursts somewhere, and then Vaigai River. The Lord sees, right? The Lord is his devout servant. Shirdi Baba is your devout servant if you serve him every day. If you do this puja every day, it's not necessary. If you do every day and think of him every day, he is going to walk in your home. This is going to happen. This is already happening in a few homes. And therefore, suddenly Lord Shiva brings a deluge. The Vaigai is full of water. It is over the embankment. It is entering the city. Those of you who are from Madurai, there is on Padanganatham, Vaigai River, graphically Padanganatham Bridge. Soravandan town, small town. And then here is Simmakal, Yanakal. And then the most fabulous federal government offices and Tamil Nadu government offices on the other side of the two beautiful bridges. She may remember the bridges. We went over the bridges in a car 2 years ago. And when the deluge comes, all the bridges are overflown, and then everyone, nothing could be done to stop. The people are all wailing. Harimardana Pandian says, every home should bring one person for the sanding. Bring the sandbags, bring the sand, and build what is called an embankment. Embankment you build. Can you get some water, please? And then every home sends somebody. There's an old lady. Her name is Vandi. Vandi doesn't have anybody. She's 87 years old. She can't even carry any sandbags. But then she does lot of puttu. In Tamil, puttu means sweet meat. Like the other day you brought some sweet meat. What is it called in Telugu? Huh? Burilu. Buralu. Okay, like buralu is very sweet. Is it right? Yes, I don't know Telugu. She's very good in making those things, and then suddenly she doesn't have anybody, and then to send at that point a young man, very youthful, very strong man comes. The Lord comes as a young man and then tells, I will replace you, and tells all the soldiers, I'll replace, and then I'll bring all the sands and all that. I'll build the embankment myself. Don't worry about that. And then at that time, you have to give me, tells the old woman, you have to give me the puttu, burilu. You have to give me in exchange for the puttu. It is a Tamil word, burilu, Telugu. Hindi में क्या कहते हैं? नहीं? You are a PhD. No, okay, not in these things, right? Okay, different things. All right, so I know the Hindi word. Sab leke, that young man is eating, and then he starts dancing, and then suddenly he starts sleeping. The king's men go and tell him, and that the king brings a big this thing, and then starts flogging him. He flogs, and the first flog, the young man is looking and smiling. The first flog he takes, and then the king gets it on his back. And all the people get the pain on their back, and the marks, red marks. He again flags. He doesn't know who is hitting me. He turns around, there is nobody. Again flogs him. And once again, the pain is experienced by the king and all the people there. And at that point, he calls, Thiruvaruran, who is Manika Wasagar, and then apologizes. This is a divine play. This is a divine play. You understand? This is Madurai. This is not Hyderabad, right? Hyderabad is India. Madurai is slightly to the southern side. You just push it out, it will go into Sri Lanka. Yeah. Because, he is thinking, uncle talks about India, which is Hyderabad. Suddenly, Madurai. He's wondering, right? So, you're not wondering. Good for you. So, He apologizes and the young man also vanishes. This is how Madurai, the story goes. If you go to Madurai, recent Madurai returned person, right here to my right, she went through Vaigai river. She even went to Meenakshi temple and then she saw. You saw Vaigai river? No, you forgot to see Vaigai river. She thought it was probably in a delusion. Let's not go there. No, you would have seen sand, pure nice white sand, because Vaigai river doesn't get water often. And at this point, Tirunavakar sir is made prime minister once again, and then he travels to all the places. He tells the king, I don't want to be prime minister again. I don't want to be any official minister. He went to Mayavaram, he went to Trichy, he went to Urayur, he went to lots of temple towns in near Madurai and Mayavaram and Tanjore and Trichy. So many, dozens and dozens of towns. He goes there. Finally, he lands in Chidambaram. This is where the title comes. Lord Shiva is there in Chidambaram. Suddenly, one day when he reaches there, that day, an old man comes and then says, a very old man comes and don't think, mistake him for Shirdi Baba, right? This is Lord Shiva. And then he says, give me personally your Vasagam. He has already written that. And Thiruvempavai, these two were written by Manika Wasagar. He has written so many volumes, but this is Tirumurai has got about 13 volumes, and this Vasagam is the 8th volume. You remember that 8th volume is Vasagam. It is there in English. Some of you can read. It's all in praise of Lord Shiva. He says, Lord Shiva tells our Vadavuran, you start telling, I'll start writing myself. So right on the inner sanctum sanctorum on the steps, he is being told, and then Lord Shiva is writing, and then on the palm leaves, the ear, the ear, and then he leaves the palm leaves right there, and then the next day morning, all the people come there. The temple priests and other 4 or 5 persons come there. They see Tiruvasagam written there. They all have heard of Tiruvasagam, but they have never seen. They see Tiruvasagam and then completely written and sealed and signed by Lord Shiva. This has been there, and the original palm leaves are with the government of Tamil Nadu. So people have seen it, and that's why the footnote says that it is still there. I have not seen it. Anyway, it will be still there. And Manika Wasagar becomes what? Really a Manika Wasagar. Everybody knows about him. And then this is this is what is called dancing with Shiva. Shiva alone was the meaning and the essence of all his works. That is Manika Wasagar. He was dancing with Shiva, I told you. And if this is dancing with Shiva, what do you think will be dancing with Shirdi Baba? The next stories will be very familiar to you. Some of you know that. But then I want to also tell you, Tiruvasagam, there is a very famous saying that Tiruvasagathukku urugar, oru vasagathukum urugar. This is a Tamil word meaning, if a heart cannot melt for Tiruvasagam, it cannot melt for any damn thing. Tiruvasagathukku urugar. He knows Tamil, and some of you know Tamil. He knows Tamil. That's what it says. That is why a famous Tamil song of the 1960s says, Kannittamil Tandadoru Tiruvasagam. Our Jyoti Garu likes Kannadasan very much. You remember the song? You don't remember? Kannittamil, the purest of languages in India, Tamil. Uncle, you said Telugu is a sweet language. I say that, but this is Tiruvasagam. And Tiruvasagam was not written in Telugu. It was written in Tamil. Therefore, Kannittamil Tandadoru Tiruvasagam. Next is a lover song. Kallai Kani Akumundan Oru Vasagam. He's talking about his lover. But then, look at that. Tiruvasagam is unequaled by anything in any country. That is why he said, Kannittamil Tandadu Oru Tiruvasagam. The only Tiruvasagam was written by Manika Wasagar. When I'm talking about all this Manika Wasagar, dancing with Shiva. Dancing with Shiva is very difficult. Even if it comes in your dream, you cannot do that because it requires lots of prerequisites, like the UTD course, MS you join, lots of prerequisites. You should have done that, you should have done this, you should have a board, preferably 4 or 5 boards. The board is very familiar, Teja. The young man is very familiar with boards because he is doing that right from his 6th grade, ably aided by his parents. Right? Boards. You showed me one or two boats. So these are all the prerequisites. For dancing with the Shirdi Baba, you don't need any prerequisites. Wow. Teja would like to know that university where he can go without any credit hours, 9 credit hours. No. Shirdi Baba is a very different person. Shirdi Baba's love is given to you without demanding anything from you. Shirdi Baba is easily accessible. That is why I said in the email, now dancing with Shirdi Baba will take you to ultimately self-realization, the real purpose of life. I said that. But then I also said there is this oneness with God. You should not stray away. I talked about this oneness with the Kadam Ratnagiri temple, Dada Kadam, right? 1 year ago. And Ratnagiri temple, I spoke about last week. Who? A few weeks ago, I spoke about Narahari and Dr. What's his name? Dr. Javeri. If I forget, my wife will remind me. You got to watch like she is doing, every topic, everything. If she has any doubt, she will ask me on Sunday. This particular devotee is called Lakshmi Chand. He was living in Santa Cruz, Mumbai. And when he was living there, he was a very great Shirdi Baba devotee. He had a vision. When he had a vision, Baba came and told him and touched his head with his hand, right hand, and then he went away. He wanted to say something, but then the dream ended. And therefore, in those days, Shirdi Baba's lectures were done by Dasganu Maharaj. You all know Dasganu. He was doing the lectures with a beautiful picture of Shirdi Baba, Shirdi Sai. And he was doing that day, the next day, with a particular home of Manjunath Bijur. In Manjunath Bijur is very well known to this Lakshmi Chand, and therefore he went there. He was bamboozled, struck by the picture, because in his dream the same person came. In Lakshmi Chand's dream, the same person came, the same person with white coffee and then headgear came. Therefore, the Kirtan, that day's Kirtan, Dasganu Maharaj was talking about Shirdi Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba. And when he was talking, Lakshmi Chand's eyes were sprouting with lots of tears, and then he was crying, and then he stopped the lecture and then say, "Why are you crying, Lakshmi Chandji? What is the reason?" And then he went and shared with everybody the vision, the dream, and when he was doing so, everybody was very thrilled. Everybody wanted to go and see this loving God at Shirdi. When everybody is going to Shirdi, Lakshmi Chand he craved to go to Shirdi. But then he had a very small job. He was working for an English company called Rallies. You remember Rallies India? In my times, I have seen the board in India. Rallies India, he was a clerk, and he was making probably about 45 rupees, 50 rupees a month. With that money from Mumbai, he had a family, so with that money, he cannot travel all the way to Shirdi Baba, Shirdi Sai, and then meet with him and then give him all the, all the garlands and all the other things. So he was wondering how to go, what could be the reasons. I don't have any spare money. At that point, his friend Shankar Rao is also a very famous Shirdi Baba devotee. Shankar Rao came and said, "Hey, I am going to Shirdi, would you come?" So this is a God-sent friend, God-sent, and therefore they both started by the night train, they started for Shirdi. At Manmad, they changed the train to Kopargaon, and in the train, they had several passengers, many miracles about Shirdi Baba. So, at Manmad and other thing in the train, everybody is talking about Shirdi Baba, and therefore, he is just wondering, when you talk about Shirdi Baba, when you go and see a saint, you usually take fruits, you usually take some shawl, you give some dakshina money. It's Shirdi Baba, right? You have to carry some dakshina money, maybe 2 quarters, like one fellow took what? 2 annas. Remember the name? The young man, young boy. And Narahari was also 16. He had 3 annas in his pocket. But this is Lakshmi Chand. He was going in the Tanga. From Kopargaon, he was going there. And he knew that Shirdi Baba liked guava fruits. And he didn't find anybody. That is out of season fruit. And therefore, there was no guava. He was in the Tanga. Tanga was going at 10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. Because Shirdi was very close at that point. A woman with a basket on her head was chasing the Tonga. Was chasing the Tonga. When she came very close, our Lakshmi Chand saw it was all full of, the basket was full of guava fruits. Tell you what, similar stories abound in Pune. A person who was trying to adopt about 15 years ago. At that time, she used to email me and then she used to come to the satsang. She wanted to adopt a child. Two sentences about this off the tangent. She was trying to find a clinic of Dr. Kulkarni, and Dr. Kulkarni's home, the Tonga fellow, the auto rickshaw fellow, didn't know. At that point, a cyclist was going in front. At the back seat, there was a basket. Inside the basket was a Dwarakamayi picture. The auto rickshaw, within that, the devotee said, follow the cyclist. The cyclist took all the way to Dr. Kulkarni's nursing home. Can you beat that story? There are lots of interior, but that is the summing up. Similarly, here, guava fruits. He stops at Tonga and then buys all the guava fruits. The lady has got very stern, very big, beautiful eyes, slightly blue, and then he takes only about a dozen guavas. The rest, 3 dozen, 2 dozen. The lady says, "Arey bhai, आप ये भी ले लो. This also you take and give it to Shirdi Baba on my behalf because he loves guava." That lady says, it is on the way from Kopargaon to Shirdi. It is still about 5.5 miles. He gets all the things. He's looking at the lady and then he gets into the Tanga. And again, one look at the lady, there is no lady, there is no basket. He cannot digest it. He wants to eat that guava, very beautiful fruits, and then he goes there. When he goes there, he forgets the old woman, he forgets the guava too. He goes to the Dwarakamayi. When he, when he reaches Dwarakamayi, they are working. He wants to work on Shirdi Baba. The prayer, the way of, what do you call that? The way you pray to Shirdi Baba is the way you apply the sandalwood paste, the way you give this thing, the way you wash his feet, and then put all the kumkum and this thing, all the grains of rice and other things. So he was doing all these things, everybody was saying, and he was also doing tripunda, the sandalwood and woody on his forehead. Nobody touches the forehead of Shirdi Baba except one person, that was Nana Chandorkar, the deputy collector's son, Bapu. Bapu was the first person to do that. Then second person was Mahal Sapati. These two persons touch, but the third person here, our Lakshmi Chand is doing it. Baba is keeping quiet. Baba might, burst out and then take the nearest stone and kill him. He didn't do anything. All the other famous devotees, Gigi, Norke and other things, this fellow, our Shama and other people are there. Shama didn't say, Shama is signing, don't do that. Shirdi Baba says, never interrupt anything. What he is doing is very good. I like that, he says. And therefore he does all the things. And finally he says, where is my thing very dear to me? He forgets about the fruits. He forgot the old woman, the fruits, everything. Baba says, did you not bring something dear to me? He didn't understand. He tells Shankar Rao, aap jaake kuch candy leke aao. You go and bring some candy because Baba wants candy. Baba is listening, he's smiling, he says, candy nahi. I love something that you brought. What is it? Very direct reference to. He didn't understand anything because when you see Shirdi Baba, the laundry list is forgotten. All of you will go with a laundry list, right? I should get a promotion. I should not go to Fort Worth for the next job. My mother should get very good health. My mother should not go to doctor again. One of us should go. Both of us should get married. Preferably a Punjabi young man. So all these things are requests of some devotees, some women. Similarly, men are there. I went and saw a beautiful woman in Punjab near New Delhi. He went to see her. But then that person said, I don't want to leave. Everything is like, I like you so much. I love you. I want to love you right here. But then I don't want to settle down in the United States. Hava nikal gaya bhai. This real story, this happened last month. These devotees are from Houston. He must be listening to this story. I'm not mentioning any names, but then very interesting story. Half an hour talk and then going and seeing. Finally, she should have said that the first as a condition. You come find a job in New Delhi, I would marry you happily. Lakshmi Chandji is a very interesting fellow. I never spoken about him. He is sitting there next to him. He said, you ass, ab donkey bole honge, Shirdi Baba. Hey, you ass, you brought guava for this thing, fruits for me. Where is that? Then he turns to Shankar Rao. Shankar Rao is the one. Shankar Rao thought if Shirdi Baba doesn't want him leke jayenge. So I'll take it. He brought all the fruits, took one, and then gave everything to Lakshmi Chandi. Lakshmi Chandi gave it everything to him. And then Baba says, give all these things to devotees. The one Shankar Rao deke, the one you are not giving, give it to Shama. ये क्या नहीं जानते हैं? I am telling. What is that our Shirdi Baba does not know? Sometimes people are saying, Uncle, you are reading my mind very, very clearly. How do you do that? Answer is very simple. He is reading the minds very clearly. They should understand, right? What is our relationship? How ubiquitous is the relationship? Why is this relationship? How did I get it? And this they were asking me on my birthday, 9th March, Mahashivaratri. Hey, I would rather not answer these questions because I read everybody's mind. That is because of the siddhi given by Lord Shiva Mahashivaratri day and then again by Shirdi Baba. So such siddhis any of you can get. It is not at all difficult. But you have to learn to dance with Shirdi Baba. Oh yeah, not Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is both mushkil. It's Shirdi Baba. And dancing with Shirdi Baba is very nice. Our Shiva himself will come and tell you. Because we talk a lot about dancing with Shiva. He is looking askance at me. Mama, let's talk about dancing with Shirdi Baba. Because dancing with me, so many people are calling me. All right. Lakshmi Chandi brings everything. And then the puja method is so beautiful. And then at that point, famous devotees come like Deputy Collector, G.G. Narke, and then Dada Kelkar, and then another Puranik. Kaka Puranik, you know, about whom I have never spoken in the last 25, 30 years. His picture is there in every temple, including our independence. You have pictures, right? On the wall? Kishore? You have pictures in the temple? Like Houston? No. Houston has got a lot of pictures. Austin has. So many temples have all. Kaka Puranik is there. He's a very old man with emotion. Very nice. This thing. He was a very great. They're all coming there. Dada Kelkar is worshipping Dr. Pandit. He's also worshipping. They're all learning that this is a new method. After Bapu's worship, this is the best worship. And they are all asking Baba. And Lakshmi Chanzi is sitting next on the right side of Shirdi Baba. He is watching everything. No. He is watching Shirdi Baba's face and eyes. Very acute look, very laser-like focus. And then Baba says, because Baba knows that he is looking at me, and then he says, you chaps come singing devotional songs, and you are all wearing shawls, beautiful shawls. You give me one. Why inquire others? Why are you asking in the Kopargaon, hey, who is Shirdi Baba? How tall is he? What is he doing during daytime? How does he eat? Where is the pipe? Does he bathe every day? All these questions people ask. One Chicago priest asked me this real story. One question. He said, Shirdi Baba, you know so much. If Shirdi Baba is going there, did they build a toilet for him? He asked me. I said, what question are you asking? A priest of the temple. And then I told him, I didn't say anything to him. Why are you asking this question? There are billions and billions of questions about Shirdi Baba. You caught up with this question. You should not have anxiety. You should not have this syndrome about Shirdi Baba. You could have asked me how many times he takes a shower. He used to take a shower once in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Because this is written by Lakshmi Tayama. What's her name? Kanatakadu devotee. Kanatakadu devotee. Okay, there is a devotee, a Tamil devotee from Kanatakadu. Am I talking about Tamil devotees instead of Telugu devotees? Come on. So, she went there and Baba was bathing. He took his intestine out and then he gave the intestine to that lady who became a very great saint from the town, village between Pollachi and Coimbatore. All right? Shivamatai, right. Her great madam is also there near Bangalore. So, like that, this Lakshmikant, the Baba is asking, why are you not getting a vision? Why are you asking so many people so many questions about me? In the vision, if you want to really convince yourself what this vision is, Shirdi Baba the same, you come and verify. You don't ask so many people, because so many people in Kopargaon and that big junction, they will ask the station master also, the flagging off person also, who is Shirdi Baba? Yeah, go and see. And then the next day, Shirdi Baba also, okay, you are like that, you know what I can do. Next day Prasad is coming. This Lakshmi Chand ji likes Shira very much. It's a very sweet thing. See, Shira, all of you know that. So he is looking for the Shira. That day everything is done, all the Arati is over, night Arati. All Prasad is coming, there is no Shira. So he is wondering, he is disappointed, he develops backache because he's sitting there in the Dwarakamayi Mandap for more than 4.5 hours. He gets backache. And at that point, the Arati is over. Lakshmi Chand, real devotee. Arati is over, and then suddenly, backs and backs from a tanga comes a prasad, and all of them are Shira. Baba read his mind, and he was so disappointed. He is about to go. He brought Shira, bags and bags full of Shira, and then 2, 3 bags he called Lakshmi Chand and said, you eat this Shira, and then your backache will be gone. You won't have any backache. Lakshmi Chand remained there for a very long time. He became a very big devotee of Shirdi Baba, and then so many miracles happened in Lakshmi Chand's. What's the time now? Is there time to continue? Or you are all developing backache? Because we are talking about backache, right? Yeah, we talked about a woman who seeks Punjabi man, and then we talked about backache, we talked about Tejas board. All of them are real. None of them is a lie. Uncle delivers everything that's going on in this world around you. A few weeks ago, I spoke about a very famous devotee. At that point, over the email, I received several emails and phone calls asking me to talk about this wonderful devotee. He went there when he was 16 years old. 1913, he went to Shirdi, and he was an orphan. Just like the previous orphan who ended up a sugar baron, a lacquer. Again, I have to ask her the name. This brain has got millions of names. I never forget his name. I forgot. Usha's name I remember. I don't discriminate. I know Vishal very well. Okay. I never discriminate. Okay. I know Shilpa very well. Okay. She talks a lot about her life, her change of job, her immigration, blah, 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 blah. Everything will happen. She shouldn't have any worries. So here comes 16-year-old man. This 16-year-old man, I'm very fond of talking about. You know why? Baba did several miracles to this fellow. Do you know his name? Anybody his name? My daughter also happened to ask me, would you please talk more about? His name is Narahari. There you go. Narahari Vasudev Riker. This Narahari is a very long story of 10, 15, 20, 25, 200 miracles. Narahari lived every day with miracles. Hardly a day passed without Narahari going through. Narahari, Murari, everything sounds similar, right? So Murari also will go through lots of miracles, and Murari's friends. Why I chose Narahari is, people went on saying, Mama, this Narahari story was very impressive. We were enthralled by Narahari's meeting with Shirdi Baba. What was so enthralling about Narahari? If you give me another 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, I'll just sum it up and tell you about 4 or 5 in a very summed up way, but that won't be very interesting. But I'll try. Narahari went to Shirdi Baba, went to meet in December 1912. I know the date, but that's not important. He was the only devotee so far who lived with Shirdi Baba in Dwarakamayi. He slept along with Shirdi Baba in Dwarakamayi, asked by Dwarakamayi Baba, Shirdi Baba, for 21 days. In those days, you stay for 21 minutes. Baba will give the Udi, and Shama will say, oh, please go, like Tirupati, right? Randi, Randi, and then you go. There's a word for that, I forgot. Huh? Jaragandi, yeah, Randi, Randi, yeah, they're very rhyming. Yeah, the Lord uses rhyming word, Jaragandi. Randi, before Randi, sometimes you hear Jaragandi, and then Randi. That's for the next person. You go and the next person in. That is Tirumala, the great Sri Pada Sri Vallabha. I pray to him every day. Sumati Maharani is a very great God. The story of Tirumala Bhagavan goes into several volumes. Let us come back to Narahari. Narahari goes there from 1978 onwards. Before that, he learnt so many things. Shirdi Baba, he went there. Baba started telling the future of India. The very first visit, he described everything from the year 1978. Yeah, your times. I have brought from 762 AD. Harimartana Pandian, all the way to your times, 1972, right? Happens to be my time too, 1978. Some of you are timeless, but don't worry, we will talk about them later. They are very advanced souls, timeless people. 1978 onwards, Baba predicted India will be divided politically and there will be several political groups. He didn't mention Gandhi family. Anyway, he must be knowing because he has met with Bala Gangadhar Tilak fighting for India's independence in those times. He spoke about all these things. Demon Kali, what will rebellion do? All the people will be sitting in front of an idiot box. They will all be doing 3-4 jobs. Baba said that. Baba said that several jobs he mentioned. Jayant is laughing because he may be doing 4 jobs in the car, one job. Anyway, Baba said that several people will go for money. Money will talk. Of course, there is a song, Money Talks, right? Jaswant Singh has sung, and there is an American song, Money Talks. Therefore, money will talk, Baba knew. And all these things, ideas he was sharing with a 16-year-old boy who didn't know anything about India from 1978. He was an orphan. He didn't know. Later on in the interview, he said, I don't know when my parents died. And therefore, Baba is giving him an extraordinary introduction about the future of India. It took a long journey from Mumbai. He went alone. He reached Shirdi on the second or third day at 4 p.m. Shirdi scene, Mrs. Manager has given, I will avoid that in Narahari's story. He goes there. When Narahari goes to Dwarakamayi, he sees a very strong and stable, wonderful man, about 5 feet 10 inches tall, a very strong fellow. He is sleeping with his face to the wall. He enters the Sabha Mandap. There are 3 steps, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. 3 steps. He goes steps there, and then he goes there, and then he's waiting. He's sleeping. That man, he doesn't know. He just turns around after 30 minutes. He's waiting there, twiddling. The old man, the strong man, wakes up and say, "Hey, who are you?" First, when he wakes up, he says, "Abdul, bring me a glass of water." And therefore, Abdul is not seen anywhere. Our fellow, what's his name? Huh? Narahari. Narahari Vasudev Riker. Narahari goes and brings a glass and places before him. "Hey, why did you come? Aap idhar kyun?" Baba says. He says, "I come to see Shirdi Baba, Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba. Can you please tell me where he is?" What was Baba's reaction? I told you. You as. Translation. अब तो हिंदी में तो बोलते हैं, लेकिन you as, nothing after as, okay? Don't fly with your imagination. He says, the English book says the same word. You don't know. You are talking with Shirdi Sai Baba. And then he says, Sashtanga Namaskar. He believes that is Shirdi Baba because when he turns around, he looks at the tejas, he looks at the eyes. You know, his eyes are flame, 2 flames, red. You cannot see Shirdi Baba continuously for more than probably 15, 20 seconds. I was in a restaurant eating idlis. He brought idlis. He ordered idlis. I was talking with him for more than 45 minutes. More than 45 minutes. Eye contact, and his eyes are very powerful. This much I can tell you from Shirdi Baba, as much as I have experienced, his eyes are very powerful. Sivamatai, right? Her name is Shivamata. She has talked with the Shirdi Baba, and then Khanda Yoga she has seen. And then she said, if anything needs to be said about Shirdi Baba, first is eyes, magnetic eyes, you cannot see. They are like tigers, they'll be shining in the night time because she saw him by 4:30 a.m. Now, Narahari says, hurriedly he says he's falling at the feet. So this is what happened when Narahari first came to Shirdi. I gave you the date and time. In the first 8 days, Baba went on doing miracles in front of Narahari. I wish he does those miracles with some of you. Some of you with the host or with Rani or with her name. If I mention wrongly, she's going to kick me out of the satsang. Rajini Garu. Sometimes I say Ranjini. Mama, that's a Telugu name. Oh, what language you speak? Okay. Rajini, right? Yeah. Am I right? Yeah. Otherwise, she would have kicked me out. To me, both names are the same. And I say, what's in a name? Narahari is there. The first very big miracle. The first 8 days in Shirdi, entire day, Baba was first day. He was very, very silent. But he saw a very terrifying scene with his own scene. The very first day, Baba scares him out of his wits. And he calls Abdullah. Abdullah, tonight nobody is sleeping here in the Dwarakamayi, including you. But listen to this. You come after sunrise. Before sunrise, don't come here. You leave immediately. And then Abdullah leaves. Listen to my instructions, Abdullah. This is very important. And then he calls, he tells, other devotees are there. Our famous people, I mentioned some of them. More famous people are sitting there. And then he tells our fellow Narahari, you sleep here in Dwarakamayi. Okay, the rest I'll tell you. So by the time everybody is looking at Narahari and Shirdi Baba, what? This fellow came, he's 16 years old, ये तो कल का हिंदी में कहते हैं ना कल का बच्चा है. So he's yesterday's child, literal translation. He's a बच्चा. And he's a Wednesday's child. You know what is Wednesday's children? Hey, some of you should know, make me proud. Teja, Wednesday's child. Orphan, those who don't have father or mother or nobody in the world, left alone, high and dry in the streets of Dallas. He's called a Wednesday children. All right, anyway, youngsters learned something. Professor knows, he knows. He was doing this. Ron knows because he's a UTD student. Very smart people. Narahari is there. To Narahari, the instruction is, do not be afraid of what you are going to see. Listen to this. Baba says this 3 times. The culture started with from Shirdi Baba saying everything 3 times. Indians say everything 3 times. Hey, that's what I was mentioning. He said 3 times. What did he say? Listen to me carefully. Tonight, do not be afraid of anything that you see. Just lie down. And then he's so saying he takes milk. There's a milk pot and then Udi. He draws a line. It's all right. She's a very brilliant girl. So as a mark of respect, I stopped my satsang. Sometimes I think Darshini is controlled by AI. She looks like a AI doll. So many people said she's a doll-like person, but she's controlled by AI. Her answers are so fast, sometimes I don't understand her answers. That is AI girl. Don't, you will see something terrible, Baba is saying. Not Darshini. You'll see something terrible and therefore don't be afraid. Don't come out of the line. He draws a line with the Udi and then with a little bit of milk that he finally gives to Narahari and he also drinks. And then he says, don't come out. 3 times he says, don't come out. Whatever you say, don't scream. If you scream, if you stand up, you will die on the spot. At the same time, you will die. Do you understand, Narahari? He doesn't seem to. He's just saying this, not this. And therefore he repeats again. 3 times he repeats. That's all I can repeat because in India I can't go there, go to the 4th time. Baba says. And therefore he lies down. He is lying and stealthily looking at Shirdi Baba. He is saying Allah Malik. Sitting right in front of Dwarakamayi, the Dunimayi in those days, he's saying Allah Malik, Allah Malik. He has got a Rudraksha mala in his hand and then he is doing dhyan. At the time, there is a terrible noise and then there is a hissing noise. A huge snake comes and then its hood is 3 to 4 feet in width. The huge is the real story because the real story was written in Marathi. That volume has been translated by somebody who was interested in Nari Riker. That snake comes there. The snake is in a striking stance. And in a striking stance, he wants to strike Shirdi Baba. But Shirdi Baba he cannot strike because he is sitting in front of Dunimai. If you sit in Dunimai, if you step into Dunimai, what happens? You are protected all the time in your life. Who said that? Not uncle. Shirdi Bhai, this big uncle said that. So you are protected. Otherwise, how do you think? How do you think I came out of the PGBT accident and asking for a cup of coffee? The police officer said, you are still alive. No, I am not alive. It's AI. I should have said that 2.5 years ago. I didn't know AI. They were all struck by wonder, awestruck. This man is still living. Jyoti Gauru had a similar accident on the same PGBT near I-35 fork. Am I right? She came out without a scratch. One tire was off. Devotees of Shirdi Baba are always protected. I've been telling for 25 years story. Very rarely I repeat. This is a magnificent story. Like the movie Magnificent, those magnificent men in their flying machines. Before you were born, most of you were born, that movie I saw. Because our Shiva says, yes, Mama, I never heard about this. Murari may be knowing. At that point, he sees the snake. He is so afraid, mortally afraid, and then he wants to scream, but he remembers the remonstrations. It was the admonition of Shirdi Baba, and therefore he says, I should not cry. If you scream, you will be killed at the same spot. And Baba's words always come true. You should remember that Shirdi Baba's words always come true. Today, tomorrow, or after 1 million years. It comes true. I have seen it. Billion examples. My own life is a standing example, sitting example. And therefore, this Murari? No, Narahari, right? Narahari. Okay, Narahari says, okay, we will keep quiet. At that point, Shirdi Baba turns and looks at the snake. A beautiful halo he has. From the halo, Shirdi Baba, it goes into the eyes. From the eyes, two powerful laser-like jets come. At the same time, the snake, huge snake, 4 feet is the hood. How long it is, you imagine, okay? The length is not given in the book. So it comes, another 2 points come, laser-like points. They both come from Shirdi Baba's eyes. They meet. Where they meet, there is a beautiful scenario described by the author, written by Narahari himself. So there is a small miniature Shirdi Baba is created. And the light from the snake, huge snake, python or whatever it is. No, not python, that's a software, right? People might object. Mama, that's a software, Mama. You say something about hardware. Okay, this is a hardware snake. So these things go away, and then the little, what do you call it? This little statue, it goes into eyes of Shirdi Baba. At that point, the snake comes down. It cannot strike Shirdi Baba. It slithers over the body of Narahari. Over the body of Narahari, 4 feet wide hood. It comes very close to his chin and then the eyes. He cannot cry. If he cries, it will strike. He knows that now because it could not strike Shirdi Baba in spite of its severe attempt. Several times it tries to do that, it couldn't. Shirdi Baba is safe. Allah Malik. You are saying Allah. It goes away, and then suddenly with a big thud, the snake is out of Dwarakamayi. At that point, he is lulled into a sleep. The early morning, 4 o'clock, Shirdi Baba says, wake up, wake up. And then he wakes up, and then Shirdi Baba walks. You know how fast he walks. You cannot run with Shirdi Baba. He is there in real life. He walks so fast. Narahari goes, follow him. He runs. They go to a small mound in Shirdi. Before that, they go to a devotee's name by name Hari. Hari, 2 cup chai bilao. So 2 cups of chai comes out. You like Tetley, right? English tea. That was Shirdi tea. My wife is fond of Tetley, Englishman's tea. And then she enjoys it very much. And today, nowadays, I also enjoy. But then this story is not Tetley. It could be non-Tetley. And both of them get excellent tea. Why I am saying all these things is Narahari liked the tea. He didn't even brush his teeth. And Baba says, do you want some more tea? No. And then he walks very fast. He goes to a mound over which he just stands on the mound, and Narahari sees a huge python. The snake is dead, and that's the same snake that came to Dwarakamayi the previous day. Baba says, Allah, may the snake attain the moksha. Give everything to the snake. And then he takes a huge stone and then brings a small pit, and then puts the snake inside the pit. And then there is a tree there. There are very few leaves. He plucks one tree, real story. Plucks one tree leaf and then puts it over the mound. And when he puts the mound, he just looks up. Give this boy everything he wants. Looking at Narahari. Give this boy everything he wants. 2 meals a day, a proper dress to wear, a place to stay. These 3 Baba mentions. Really, only these 3. Narahari is watching. And as soon as he says, Allah, these things, take care of the boy. At that time, a huge storm appears. It is a dust storm. The very dust storm that we all experienced in DFW. Yesterday, when you drove yesterday, Was it not looking brown, the whole street? Sometimes you could not even drive. Your car windshield became brown. You couldn't see. So the same dust storm came. I was reading this when I saw that outside dust storm. I don't know how it coincided so beautifully. And I was reading about the dust storm. And Baba says, and because of the dust storm, they were all saying, and then they were all singing. Baba is singing, and then suddenly Narahari goes into a sleep. And then Narahari also sees in the sleep somebody is pulling his brain out. Somebody is bringing his limbs out. By the time he sleeps for about 25-30 minutes, he wakes up. It is early morning, 4:30. They went out. It's about 5:30, 5:25, 5:30. He sees there is no Shirdi Baba there. It's very close. Therefore, he runs back to Dwarakamayi. When he goes to Dwarakamayi, it is early morning. Baba brings another cup of tea because he saw happiness on the eyes of Narahari when he gave Hari's tea. He brings another cup of tea. While drinking the tea, Baba says, you go into the town, Shirdi, and don't come back until the evening. Until 5 p.m., do not come. You come after 5 p.m., you will be welcome. Not before. He says 3 times. I don't know why. To Narahari, he said everything 3 times. I kept wondering why. Of course, this is in India. Of course, maybe the practice started, initiated by Shirdi Baba. Yeah, therefore I welcome anybody who wants to call me and then say everything 3 times. But you have to become Narahari or Shirdi Baba, okay? When very difficult condition. He goes there, he goes into the village and then meets several people. He eats a very good lunch because people are asking, hey, where did he go? Last time, even Abdullah is asking. They're all giving him lots of goodies, sweets, meats, laddu, jangri, so many things. And then say, hey, tell us what happened yesterday. There's a newsman from Mumbai. What happened yesterday? Fox News, right? Somehow you recollect. He says, where did you go at 4 p.m.? Why did you come by 5:30? What happened to Shirdi Baba? He says, Shirdi Baba and I very calmly went for a walk, a cool walk. She knows the effectiveness of walk. She goes for walk in South India heaven every day. And therefore, everybody gives him lots of things. Now Narahari becomes very popular. That day, when the darkness falls and the sun sets, Baba brings handful of woody. Sit down, Narahari, in front of Dwarakamayi. In front of Dunimai. He brings lots of woody. And then the woody, he just throws it on as the thing. Yesterday was Holi, right? Yeah, I was reading this when there was Holi. He throws all over his body and then not below the chin. And then he says, sit down. He throws all the woody on the floor. And on the floor, he just puts its right hand. When he puts the right hand, the lines are formed in the dark, the woody, right? And the lines are formed, and then with the chalk, he just draws the lines, and then he draws the this thing, lines, what do you call, palmistry lines, okay? He draws a lifeline going like this, the lifeline, and then a fish in the Mount of Venus. The mount below this is called Mount of Venus. So on that, there is a fish. If you have the fish and that line, you will be a very fortunate person. But no other lines are allowed. Baba said that very difficult condition. He showed it. And then he again called him donkey, the same 3-letter word. And then what is this he called? Naragari said, but he's not that afraid of Shirdi Baba because a few magics he has seen, few miracles he has seen. And now he says no. And then he says, you donkey? You don't know this? This is a person's hand. This is a person of a future person's hand. This person is going to be my friend. He is going to be born 20 years after my samadhi. This is 1913, 1 year. 1912 he went, right? This is 1912. 20 years after my samadhi. For the samadhi itself, we still have 5-6 years. 1912 plus 6, 1918. Therefore, do you understand? Narahari says, yeah, I understand 1912, 1930, 20 years. He is going to be my best friend, Baba continues. He is going to be my best friend. Don't worry about these things. I am going to give you the hand, right? In the hand, he brings a cloth and then puts a cloth over that. That cloth is nothing but from his, what do you call that? Huh? The headgear he has got, there is a Hindi word for that, I forgot. What is the Hindi word for that? आप हिंदी जानते हैं? Yes. हम तो ये नहीं जानते हैं, मामा. This is, huh? Peta, Harika Beta, Jarika Peta. Yeah, that is Peta. That is another story. but anyway, Raghu Mama, huh? Kafni is this one, dress. Huh? Oh, pagdi bolte hain, pagdi bolo. So, okay, this pagdi say, he takes off the cloth and then puts that impression of the hand there, and then he say, you keep this hand with you and follow the instructions. The instruction he once says in his, it's mentioned in his right ear once, left ear again, and then without any ear he says 3 times. He gives very important instructions given to Narahari. What he says is, 20 years after that, my friend to whom this belongs, you are going to hand over, that gentleman, my friend, will be born. He's not even born. And that yet to be born man is called a doctor, MBBS, Dr. Javeri. Right? What is his first name? I have forgotten the first name. I talked about Javeri's life in one satsang. Not so much about Narahari's life. So Narahari is listening. What is Javeri? Sashikant. Who said that? That is the correct name. Sashikant J. Javeri. Thank you so much for being so attentive. Did you get help from Google? Okay. Because usually people are feverish. Behind somebody will turn around. Yeah. You could call AI, right? Yeah. AI will immediately say, that is Sashikant. That is the right answer. So anyways, Narahari says, he will be born 20 years after I die. I mean, after I attain Samadhi, you will meet with him at the end of your life. When you are about to die, he is talking with Narahari. When you are about to die, he passed away at the age of 64. He is very interested in Narahari's story. So are the other people. My daughter said, Daddy, talk about Narahari. Here is some more information about Narahari that came straight from the mouth of my big uncle. This is not to be found in any book. Don't be asking the AI, where is the book, where is the details? I want to know all the details. No, you won't get it unless you are close with this uncle. Okay? He told me in the last 4 days, full story. I keep everything in my head. What happens is, he goes there and then he comes. He went inside. He brings this thing. He takes the other half of the his headgear and then brings that cloth. Now he doesn't have anything. He comes there. He stands. He puts that on the udi. He stands there. Two padukas. He stands there and then he jumps. Shirdi Baba jumping and then takes out the padukas and hands it over, ties it very carefully and hands it over to Narahari. What is Narahari's last name? Riker. Yeah, for a reason I want you to remember these two names. Javeri, right? Javeri and Riker, Narahari. Narahari, Vasudev, Riker. Okay, Narahari's hand, and then he says in the very close, he says, do not waste these things. Do not lose these things. If you lose, there will be terrible consequences in your life and Javeri's life. I want my friend to have these things. And then 21 days, this is being done on the 18th day. In between, there are so many miracles. I would talk about each and every day, but then you got to be waiting for the, prasad. I usually say Peruganna. So, Telugu is the official language of the United States. Not yet. Not yet. Before that, I learned Telugu. Okay, Bhavanara? Right. Narahari is very happy. He is afraid of Shirdi Baba, and then I'm going to finish it because I have taken about 6:47 for 20 minutes. Usually I go up to 8:10. Can I? With one more episode, thrilling episode in Narahari's life. Thrilling episode. This is going to be not known to anybody. So, I told you everything about 8th day and the 9th to 18th day. And the 18th day, he is very, very hungry. Bayajama is sitting there with Shirdi Baba. He is very hungry. Baba knows that. At that time, Baba talks with, in the mind, he talks, a message is sent to, who? Not Radhakrishna, to Bayajama. Bayajama brings lots of bakri. And then this fellow, not even washing his teeth, brushing his teeth, he just lungs on the bakris and eats all the bakris. So Shirdi Baba gives a big lecture that is there in this particular chapter on the 18th, 9th day and the 18th day. Because he is blinded by gnawing hunger, and then he also tells about future. In future, people will be after 1978 in this country, there will be lots of people with gnawing hunger. There'll be lots of people in my temple, Shirdi. There'll be lots of children walking around, gnawing around GNAW, gnawing around in sheer hunger. With fire in the belly, they will go to bed. I've seen it. All of you who went to Shirdi might have seen it. I have seen it. I have talked with those girls. I have gotten them the canteen food. But that was only for 2 days. They are being taken care of by Narahari and by Shirdi Baba and by Dr. Javeri. None of them is living now. He says, lots of people before the idiot box, that's on the first day. A rational person will become turned to devil and he thinks it's how to fill his belly. In India, everybody will be thinking about money, how to fill her own belly. Even if he has to snatch the food from a child's hand, Shirdi Baba is saying, he will not hesitate to do so. Hindi mein to bataye honge. Pakdo kana, from the child they will eat. Leave the child, kick the child into the street. He is describing India. Poverty will be more. I have seen it in the 1980s. I have seen it in the 1970s in North India. I was working in a district, Basti, where poverty used to have a naked dance. I'm getting to the close, but listen to this. I developed a plan for State Bank of India in that pocket of poverty in India. I have seen lots of poverty where a rickshaw fellow, I loaned to him, he earns Chavani. Chavani means 4 annas. 2 4 annas, 8 annas, he will be sleeping in the rickshaw. I am the one who went there. Hey, don't. Make some more for Chavanis. Make some more 8 annas. Make 5 rupees. I made rickshawalas pull and make 5 rupees a day. That was like something like $10,000 a day salary for you. A lot of money. They said so many things in a language I didn't understand at that time. That language is called Bhojpuri, Eastern UP, Bhojpuri. But then I had Sudarshan Kumar, my senior from the branch. He knew Hindi, Bhojpuri, he used to translate, I used to write the plan. Why I say all these things is Shirdi Baba is predicting extraordinary things, and the author says how true Baba's words have come true, each and every word. And then he says all that. He also said several diseases will take over mankind. He didn't say COVID-19 or COVID-1919. No, he didn't say that. He said chicken pox, chikungunya. He said bird flu. He even said about the egg prices going up. He has said that to Narahari. Baba talks so much about Narahari, and then Narahari comes there, and on the 18th day, Baba shows a very big miracle, okay? A very, very eerie miracle, he says. And then Baba says, I'm not getting into that, a magnificent miracle. Baba says, come my dear child, your life has started improving from today. On the 18th day, he says, and then comes the last day, 21st day, he is leaving and he has got the bundle, right? 16-year-old boy, he is going to the Tonga. Baba walks to the Tonga and then puts his right hand over his head and said, I will be with you whenever you want. Hello? That is the promise Baba has given each and every one of you in this room, in this home, including your mother, including you, Sonali and her husband. They are not here perhaps, but then the same promise. Your mother, I liked her very much. I know her very much. Delhi mein hai abhi. But then all alone, Shirdi Baba is with her. Anytime I think of her a lot every day. I talk with my wife about your mother. At that age, she is all alone. Her thought process I know. You may not know all these things. Sonali, what thinks? What is Sonali's husband after recent marriage, right? Yesterday there was a function. So how do they think? How do they part? Do they think about Shirdi Baba? I don't think so. That's natural for a youngster. Recently you got married. Therefore Baba talks about all these things, and the last day the Tonga moves, and Baba says, keep the packet carefully. Remember, Narahari lived alone all his life. Not a sad thing. He did several wonderful things. They were not even highly spiritual, but then to you and me, they may not look like spiritual. In those days, Baba is not a dream anymore. 5 years after Baba Samadhi, Sima Longan. And then Narahari is thinking. Narahari had neighbor who was a great Datta devotee. This Datta devotee he used to talk a lot about Shirdi Baba. He used to share a lots of things about Dattatreya, Lord Datta. Okay, not about Sripal Shivalabha, Lord Datta. They used to talk. So one day he was saying, his great curiosity. Narahari says, why not go? In those days, in almost the end, in those days, there in Saurashtra, in Gujarat, there was a beautiful, even today, there is a beautiful mountain called Mount Girnar. In those mountains, in those days when Narahari was living, not far away, Narahari is very close to us, just a few years ago. He wanted to go because the neighbor said that that's a beautiful temple in Girnar. That is Lord Somnathji's temple. It is still there. It is right on top of a hill, and going there will be impossible. Just forget about it, people say. Professor and Jyoti Garu have lived very close to that area. They know that area. Very rugged, very difficult to travel. And then you have to travel, you will probably lose your life. Death is very easy in every corner. Narahari goes once. When Shirdi Baba is not here, I'll reach Datta. And let me see, Shirdi Baba has blessed me and the Tonga earbuds, right? Keeping the bundle carefully back home in a room. By the way, his life never lacked food, dresses, and a place to live. He never went hungry. Baba's promise. When he promises, he delivers. He's the only person. He's only Sadguru who delivers. And when he goes there, that day was a full moon day. Narahari developed a great liking for full moon day. And all full moon day he wanted to go. And then he wanted to go 108 times because he knew the Ashtotram and all that. So he wanted to go there 108 times, and then he goes there. First visit, when he goes there, there is a terrible wind at the speed of probably 150 miles an hour, and then there is snow. Pahadon mein 1,500, 2,000 feet he goes there. Everywhere there is rock, and then there is snow, and then there is rain. Rain is pushing him back. Every step he goes forward, he goes 4 feet. That's what he has written in his volume. Four steps he is going back, and it's terrible. There is no human being. When he reaches the Gorakhnath's temple, Somnathji's temple, not Gorakhnath's temple, at that point there is one Siddha Purusha living there. But then when he reached there, he found the Siddha Purusha sleeping happily inside, opposite the temple in his quarters, one-room quarters. There are no human beings in that mountain even today. And the darkness falls. A woman comes. She is easily 80, 85 years old. She has got a stick in her hand. Our Narahari is not that old, right? 64 he passes away, but then he is in his 30s. He goes there and then he looks at the old lady and then said the old lady is giving a hand. The old lady refuses, said, I got a stick. She comes up to him and said, he is asking Narahari, where are you going? She says, I am going to Gorakhnath. It's called Gorakhnath temple. And then it is some more steps. I came by the gorge. Narahari says, how come? Dead of night. It is raining. You can't see. Visibility is zero. Wind is 150 miles. Old lady, 80s. How do you travel? How did you come? He didn't say, who are you? How did you? He says, I live in the jungle. In the same jungle I live. And therefore it is very difficult. I know all these things. It may be new to you. And then he's looking quizzically. She offers the stick and then say, we both can hold the stick and then walk. When they are going, both of them hold the stick. She is holding the stick top and then he is also holding below her hand. Walking, every step becomes what? As easy as it's a cakewalk. They go there very easily. They are walking 2,500 feet. Gorakhnath temple comes. Right? The temple comes and then they go inside. There is nobody there. And then the old lady says, I have come all this way to see my Guru. My Guru is about 100 years old. We will have to wait for the Guru. In the meantime, our Narahari, right? Our Narahari has taken kumkum, chandan and all the flowers, fruits. He's carrying a bag. So does the lady. She is also carrying a bag at 84. He's a young man, Narahari. And she is carrying and then she is walking without any effort. And then she doesn't even sit down. Narahari is sitting down. His legs are pain. His feet. He wants to see a podiatrist as soon as he comes back in pain. When you think of podiatrist, I think of New York City. Podiatrist is the best profession there because in Manhattan you keep on walking. When you reach home at 11:45, 12 night, remember you have to get up at 4:30 a.m. to get the first LIRR train to Manhattan. And I'm talking about Greenport, Long Island Seasmores Point. I was living slightly at the middle in the Suffolk County. This lady never had any pain. Why are you sitting down, young man? And then he says, I have pain in the foot. You have pain in the foot? Let me see. She takes a look and the pain is gone. I want to go and see that person because I have a wart in my right foot. I think of her anyway. Therefore, we are waiting for the Guru and Narahari takes out all the stuff and then he puts it in the small paper plate and then she arranges everything and then he starts a puja. When he starts a puja, a very big stalwart like Guruji comes. He is having Rudrakshamala and he is having very big this thing, Udi and then Chandan, Botu and then all this dress, beautiful dress. No one knows where he comes from. He's just walking towards them and the old lady goes running, indicating to her Narahari that he is my Guru, come and do. Salute him, come and fall flat on his feet. Narahari was very happy that in that desolate journey, an old woman came. An old woman, she was very sweet, is giving food to eat, is giving stick to walk. All the time wondering who is this lady. He just goes and obeys the lady's instructions, falls flat. When he is falling flat, the lady says, blesses that person, and then the Guruji who came, he is also saying, you always do good deeds and your Guru will be always with you. Remember, the Guruji who came says, a powerful man in Gorakshnath temple above that. There is another temple, I forgot the name, forgive me. Do you remember? No, name. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. So at that point, we don't remember the name. It's all right. It's not necessary for you. The Guruji says, what did he say? Remember? Whatever happens. Okay. So no, he said something else. I forgot. He says, your Guru, always think of the Guru, whatever may be the trials and tribulations in life. He is always with you. And then the Guruji walks away. Let me go and thank you for the puja. And then Narahari turns around and then gets up very easily, no pain in the leg, gets up. There he sees Shirdi Baba. That is the end of this satsang. This Narahari lived a great life. I am reminded lots of miracles are gushing in my intellect to tell. And then he passed away, and I'll tell you the date. I noted down. He lived a great life, and in that great life, particularly December 2004, he had a very big magical life. 1913 to 1961, 48 years went by after meeting with Shirdi Baba and all those wonderful miracles. And in 1961, Narahari was 64 years old, and he came and joined the KEM hospital, and that is where the doctor who came to give an injection for his lung issues, asthma, that doctor was Dr. Javeri. I have not even started a story on Dr. Javeri, not today. Dr. Javeri cured 7,000 patients of asthma. When he touched, of course, he obeyed all the instructions. He had one brass and one stone paduka, and then a stone was used for Abhishek and brass was used for just taking a look. In his lifetime, anybody who came, he was living in Bombay, and Pune miracle, Bombay miracle, Shirdi miracle. People used to go from Shirdi to see Dr. Javeri. When you just take a look at the Paduka, which is still there, like Ratnagiri temple, like Shirdi temple, that Paduka, both of them are still there. You just look at it, all your miseries are gone. 1964, he passed away. Before passing away, he developed a very close association with Dr. Javeri. Shirdi Baba had given him 3 times, right? and that my friend who is going to be born 20 years from now after my samadhi will not believe you, Narahari. For that, I give you 2 hints. I'm not going to give you the hints for some other, because I can keep on talking about Narahari till there will not be anybody except perhaps Narahari. I'll keep on talking. I'll keep on talking. The 3 things that Baba told, extraordinary things, and those 2 things for Javeri's life. Both the things happened, and Javeri was dumbfounded. A person who, before my birth, he gave my hand. That hand was Javeri's hand. Fish was there, and then going into that mount was there. And the 2 incidents that Narahari told him would happen. If that happens, you better come back to me. Both of them happened ditto. Exact things happened. And Dr. Javeri became a great devotee of Shirdi Sai. Look how Baba pulls people. Look how he makes great devotees. There are ordinary devotees everywhere in the world. Look how he made Narahari, right? Vasudev. How he made Dr. Javeri, Sashikant, right? Sashikant J. Javeri. How he made Professor G.G. Narke. How he made so many people here, some of whom are extraordinary devotees. Look how uncle is spending all my lifetime. A few more years is remaining. Okay. Wherever I go, I avoid buckets in the bathroom. Okay, you got it, right? Lest I should kick buckets, right? I don't want to kick bucket. Only on the designated day, somebody will bring buckets. Mama, it's time to kick. Okay. All these things are happening in life. Very great devotees I am meeting. Excellent devotees in 8 cities of this country. I am very grateful for listening to this story. Dr. Javeri's story will keep on. I'll say probably 6 months later, I'll tell you Javeri's story. Fantastic story. Javeri could not believe that before I was born, he was giving me my identity. What? Is it ID theft or what? He didn't know. Right? Everything about Javeri was given to Narahari. And Narahari himself, when he saw him in the KEM hospital, Baba said, after meeting with him, next week, you will die. And he died the next week. Before that, he did so many things with Javeri's life. An MBBS doctor. Now we will do the Dwarakamayi Puja. I am ready. Always remember, Shirdi Baba is very easily accessible. You learn to dance. Dancing is nothing but developing one's, bless you, consciousness. You develop your bhakti plus consciousness. If I give a lecture on B plus C, it's going to be like Albert Einstein's lifetime. Enormous details and developing C factor. Bhakti is now with the bhakti and then some. Developing surrender. Surrender he did. Who did surrender? Narahari Sharma did surrender to the man who was sleeping in Dwarakamayi. There are lots of stories of men and women who met with Shirdi Baba. And Shirdi Baba is available even today in the astral body. He is meeting with so many people even today. And therefore, there will be Narahari Sharmas among you. There will be MBBS doctor, Dr. Javeri. There will be G.G. Narke, professors. 2-3 professors are here. G.G. Narke. Narke was the only one who just looked at Shirdi Baba and then said, he is more than a god. Who is he? He went on this thing. Baba went on studying him. Finally, G.G. Narke once said, he's not not giving me kafni. He's not allowing me to beg with his begging bowl. That thought went in. He called G.G. Narke and said, go and beg in front of my 5 houses. True story. G.G. Narke, with his Manchester suit and shoe, he went and begged. He has written in his diary. Such is the story of Shirdi Baba, and therefore dancing with Shiva and Shirdi Baba is very important in your life. Think about it. Read my email every month and try to attend this great puja. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, bhaktas. Thank you for attending all my lectures. And don't worry about the Tiruvasagam song. Don't worry about Tiruvasagathukku Uruvasagathukkum Urugar. Your mind should melt in front of Shirdi Baba. Tiruvasagam is translated in English. It's called Tirumurai. Tirumurai is an arrangement where the 8th volume is Tiruvasagam. In English, try to read it. It's all about Lord Shiva. I'm sure Lord Shiva will start reading it. My daughter is already reading Tirumurai. It's in Tamil, and then she will come to me, I will translate. So, Harimartana Pandian, 862 AD. Don't worry about him. All you should worry is the 1000, right? 15th century, when the great temple came. I'll bring in front of you a picturesque view of Madurai Meenakshi temple and the history of goddess Meenakshi with all the Pandian kings and the queen. What did Shiva do to goddess Meenakshi before marrying? All these things in the down the road. Thank you so much. Come on, let's do the puja. Ready? Everybody ready? Om Sri Sai. Sri Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sri Lakshmi Narayana Namaha. Om Sri Sai Krishna Rama Siva Maruti Yati Rupaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sesha Sai Ne Namaha. Om Sri Sai Godavari Tata Shiladi Vasine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhakta Hridaya Vasine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Hridaya Vasine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Buddha Vasaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Buddha Bhavishya Pava Varjitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kalatitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kala Kalaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kala Kalaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kala Darpa Damanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Mrityunjayaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Amartyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Martya Abhaya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jivadharyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvadaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhaktavana Pradiknyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhaktavana Samarthaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Annavastradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Arogya Shemadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Dhanamangalya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Riddhi Siddhidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Putra Mitra Kalatra Bandhudaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Siddha Shankalpaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Yoga Shema Vahaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Apad Bandhavaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Marga Bandhave Namaha. Bhukti Mukti Swarga Pavargataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Priyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Preeti Vardhanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Priyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Nityanandaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Antaryamine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sachidatmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Nityanandaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Paramasugataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Parameshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Paramatmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Paramasugataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jnana Swarupine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jagadapitreya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhaktanam Matrudhatu Pitamahaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhakta Abhaya Pradaya Namaha. Bhakta Paradinaya Namaha. Bhakta Anugraha Kataraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Saranagata Vatsalaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhakti Sakti Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Putra Mitra Kalatra Bandhudaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jnana Vairagyadaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Prema Pradaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Samshaya Hirdaya Daurbalya Papa Karma Vasana Chayakaraya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Hridaya Granthi Bedagaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Karma Dvamsine Namaha. Om Shri Sai Karma Dvamsine Namaha. Om Shri Sai Sutta Sasvasidaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Gunadita Gunatmane Namaha. Om Shri Sai Gunadita Gunatmane Namaha. Ananta Kalyana Gunaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Amita Parakramaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Amita Parakramaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Jaine Namaha. Jaine Namaha. Om Shri Sai. Om Shri Dwarakamayi. Om Shri Sai Durdarsha Shobhaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Aparajitaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Trilekeshu Avigata Gataye Namaha. Asakyarahidaya Namaha. Sarvasakti Murtaye Namaha. Om Shri Sai Sarupa Sundaraya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Sulokshanaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Bahiruva Vishwamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Sai Arubhavyaktaye Namaha. Om Shri Sai Ashintaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Sushmaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Sushmaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Sarvantaryamine Namaha. Om Shri Sai Manovagatitaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Prema Murtaye Namaha. Om Shri Sai Sulabhadurlabhaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Sulabhadurlabhaya Namaha. Asahaya Sahayaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Anatanata Dina Bandhave Namaha. Om Shri Sai Sarvabharaptute Namaha. Akarmaneka Karma Sukarmine Namaha. Punyachravana Kirtanaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Punyachravana Kirtanaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Tirthaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Vasudevaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Satam Gataye Namaha. Om Shri Sai Satparayanaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Loganadaya Namaha. Pavananagaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Amrutamsave Namaha. Om Shri Sai Amrutamsave Namaha. Om Shri Sai Bhaskara Prabhaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Brahmacharya Tapasaryadi Suvrataya Namaha. Satya Dharma Parayanaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Siddheshwaraya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Siddheshwaraya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Siddha Shankalpaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Siddha Shankalpaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Yogeshwaraya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Bhagavate Namaha. Bhaktavatsalaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Satpurushaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Purushottamaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Purushottamaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Satyadattva Bodhagaya Namaha. Kamadi Sadvairi Dvamsine Namaha. Om Shri Sai Apedanandanubhava Pradaya Namaha. Samasarvamata Sammataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Venkatesa Ramanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Venkatesa Ramanaya Namaha. Sri Venkatesa Ramanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Atpudananda Saryaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Prabhannarthi Haraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samsara Sarva Dukkha Chayakaraya Namaha. Samsara Sarva Dukkha Chayakaraya Namaha. Samsara Sarva Dukkha Chayakaraya Namaha. Sarvavid Sarvato Mukaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvantar Bahistidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Mangalagaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Mangalagaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Mangalagaraya Namaha. Sarva Bhishta Pradaya Namaha. Samarasa Shanmargastapanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samartha Sadguru Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sai Nadaya Namaha. Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sri Ananta Koti Brahmanda Nayaga Rajadiraja Yogi Raja Parabrahma Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sri Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. This is the phenomenal 1 minute prayer. You can meditate and you can think of even Narahari, Vasudev, or you can think of your auntie in New Delhi, or you can think of Shirdi Baba himself. Anything you want from him in this 1 minute is the time, and you will get it. Let's do the Aarti, and then let's go to Prasad.
शिर्डी माझे पंढरपूर साई बाबा रमावर साई रमावर साई बाबा रमावर शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्र भागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा याहू याहू अवघे जन करा बाबासी वंदन साईसी वंदन करा बाबासी वंदन गणू म्हणे बाबा साई धाव पाव माझे आई धाव पाव माझे आई.
ॐ साई नमो नमः. श्री साई नमो नमः. जय जय साई नमो नमः. सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः। ॐ साई नमो नमः, श्री साई नमो नमः, जय जय साई नमो नमः, सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
ॐ साई नमो नमः, श्री साई नमो नमः, जय जय साई नमो नमः, सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
ॐ साई नमो नमः, श्री साई नमो नमः, जय जय साई नमो नमः, सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
ॐ साई नमो नमः, श्री साई नमो नमः, जय जय साई नमो नमः, सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
साई नमो नमः, श्री साई नमो नमः, जय जय साई नमो नमः, सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
ॐ साई नमो नमः, श्री साई नमो नमः, जय जय साई नमो नमः, सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
ॐ साई नमो नमः, श्री साई नमो नमः, जय जय साई नमो नमः, सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
ॐ साई नमो नमः, श्री साई नमो नमः, जय जय साई नमो नमः, सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
साई